Hi, my name is Linnea Jessen, and this is my cultural bag video. So to start, I'm going to show you the bag I chose, and I chose to use my backpack. I kind of chose it for a few reasons. First, because I'm an education major, so that's kind of a big part of who I am, and then second, just because of the emphasis my family puts on education. In my family, my mom has a master's degree, my dad has a bachelor's degree. Both of my grandpas went to college, and then my grandmas didn't, but both of them always have let us all know, like, how important getting an education is. My one grandma all the time says, like, how are you doing in school? What are you going to do once you graduate college? Are you going to get a master's degree, a doctorate degree? So my family culture is very focused on education. And that kind of leads me to how I'm going to kind of show you what is in my bag. So I kind of pulled from different cultures that I'm a part of, if that makes sense. I don't necessarily think I'm a part of one culture, and that'll kind of make more sense as I go through the bag, but just as a disclaimer. So the first thing I'm going to start with is these two, one's like a mug, one's teacup. So the first one I'll start with is this mug. If you can see, it says Sweden on it because my dad's parents are from Sweden. My grandma, who is my dad's mom, actually lived in Sweden until she was 7, and then she came to America. And her middle name is Linnea, which is my first name. So this is a mug she got me once from when she went there back to visit. And these pink flowers are actually the Linnea flower, which is where my name came from and her middle name. And her grandma's first name was also Linnea. So that's kind of a part of like my heritage, part of my culture. And then another part of my heritage culture aspect is this teacup. It says Poland on it, Polska, because my mom's side, her parents are Polish. They didn't ever live in Poland, but their parents did, and both of their parents, I believe, came over like right before they were born, maybe about a year before they were born. So my grandma and grandpa both knew how to speak Polish. I know a few words, but not a ton, but it's definitely evident, like, that culture through some of the foods we eat. At Christmas, we always have kolaczki, which is just like a Polish cookie. Things like that we pass around at Christmas to this like wafer that is like a Polish kind of tradition where you like put it in a circle and everyone grabs a little piece. So those are the two like largest heritage cultures, I guess. I'm totally not saying that right, but like different cultures I'm a part of in that type of way. And then going off of that, I have another item, which is a picture of my grandma and my grandpa. These are my mom's parents, so they are the ones who are Polish. So that kind of ties back into that. But then this was also on my first Holy Communion, so I kind of wanted to then touch on like my religious culture. So I grew up in a Catholic church family. I like went to Sunday school all the time, except I went on Wednesday nights to CCD, religious ed, all the way through 8th grade, and I think I started in kindergarten, maybe 1st grade. So I had my first Holy Communion, my confirmation, all of that. My mom's side is very Catholic. My dad's side is not more fluid, but like kind of Christian, which is more of an umbrella term. So they don't go to like Catholic masses or anything like that, but they do go to like Christian church, which is pretty similar. There's just not as much of the ritual as like a first communion, things like that. So I just kind of wanted to touch on that with this picture, my religious cultural identity. Then another item I have, which might take a second. Okay, found it. So I am a part of Greek life at ISU. I actually have the shirt on. I'm an Alpha Delta Pi, which is a social sorority on campus. And Greek life in general has a completely different culture than not being in Greek life. So I have my sorority's pin to kind of represent that. So it has our letters on it here, and then our chapter's name. So I'm an Alpha Delta Pi, which is like the big thing, and then the Zeta Theta chapter of Illinois State University. And Greek life has just taught me a lot. I've definitely been able to have leadership roles. I've grown more independent. I think I have kind of found more of who I want to be and who I don't want to be through being involved in Greek life. It's definitely a second family here at ISU and a big part of who I am now. So I just thought it was kind of important to talk on that, the Greek life and their culture. It's definitely not like the movies. It's not all about partying and going out. I mean, while that does happen, but that happens on a college campus. I think it's part of the college culture more so than specifically the Greek life culture. We also have philanthropy events, which I always kind of volunteered before, kind of for fun, but not super often. But now I actually enjoy volunteering. Over the summer, I've already signed up to volunteer 2 or 3 times just for fun. I enjoy doing it. It's just at Feed My Starving Children. It's close to my house, but it's definitely influenced my specific culture being a part of the Greek life culture. So that was why I had that. Another thing that I'm going to take out of the bag is actually my phone, but it's not my phone. It's this app I have. Let me pull it up. Give me just 1 second. So it's called the Ventra app. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's so that you can use the Metra. I don't know if you can see it. Oh. There you go. You can kind of see it. It's blurry, but basically it's going to kind of talk about my regional culture. So I grew up in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, and so I obviously use that whenever I wanted to go downtown or things like that, just because it's way easier than using a car. And what I have found from going to ISU here in Central Illinois is that just the way I grew up and my experiences and what I'm familiar with is way different than people who grew up in Central Illinois or Southern Illinois or even different states. So I thought it was kind of important to touch on that because I grew up in the northwest suburbs. I have access to a lot of things that people here might not have access to. 5 minutes from my house, I could basically go to any grocery store. I live about 10 minutes from Woodfield Mall, which is a big mall in Illinois, 40-minute train ride from downtown. So I have access to a lot of resources and events and things like that because of where I live, as opposed to here where maybe going downtown for a day could happen, but it's going to be a way bigger experience or process than just me driving 10 minutes to the train station and hopping on a train for 40 minutes, if that kind of makes sense. And then another item I have that kind of also goes along with that is this piece of confetti. I keep it in my wallet, actually. It's from the Taylor Swift concert I went to last summer in Chicago, so that kind of goes along with just how easy it is to get there, and then is an example of an experience I'm able to have pretty easily because of where I live. Getting on the train was easy. Getting tickets. I'm familiar with the city, so I knew how to get there. I didn't have to really plan out where was I going to park. Should I Uber? Should I taxi? Should I take the train? I already knew that because I grew up there. Whereas if I grew up in Central Illinois or Southern Illinois or not around a big city, I would have had to definitely put a lot more thought into the process of going to see the concert. And then kind of to piggyback off of this, I also think it kind of represents how big pop culture is in our lives. So that's the next aspect of culture I wanted to talk about that pertains to me. I love music. I am very involved in pop culture. Obviously with social media, it's very easy to get caught up in pop culture, whether that's music, movies, reality TV stars, anything like that. And then that kind of brings me to my next item, which is my makeup bag. So this kind of has to do with pop culture, I think, because in the northwest suburbs, people are very in tune with pop culture and what the new it thing is. And I think that's pretty true for Central Illinois and other parts of the country too. But I think a little bit more so in the northwest suburbs, partially because I think people have the means to do that, just because jobs up there tend to pay more than down here. At least I know for teaching that's true. Up in the northwest suburbs, teachers get paid more than down here, but that's because the cost of living is more. But that's beside the point. I think pop culture puts a lot of stress on people, including myself, to look a certain way, act a certain way, buy certain things, listen to certain music. So that's kind of why I have my makeup bag. Pop culture definitely influences what I do and what I don't do, and if I wear makeup or if I don't, and what type of makeup I wear, depending on where I'm going. So I think that's a big part of my culture is pop culture and the makeup part of it and how you should look, how you shouldn't look, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. I definitely try not to pay attention to those things and just be true to myself, but I think any of us would be lying to say that oh, we don't pay attention to pop culture, we don't care about it. So yes, that is why I have that. I believe that is all. Yeah, in general, I just wanted to like kind of reiterate that I think all of these different things influence my culture. So like, I'm gonna say it wrong again, but like nationality culture, pop culture, what else did I have? Like regional culture with my Venture app, Greek life culture. It all like ties in to make me and my culture, and impacts my biases and what I think, and what I don't think, and what I think is right and what I think is wrong, and what I'm familiar with. Like I said, especially with like regional culture, I'm aware of way different things because of where I grew up than people who grew up in the South or grew up on a farm and not the suburbs or even the city compared to the suburbs. So yeah. That's it.